Have you ever given deep thought as to what happens after you die? Well, the first thing to question and to think deeply about is really and truly what dies? Is it you? Or is it this vehicle that you're using to take you around on earth, this thing we call the body? If ever you want to get a glimpse into what really dies, I like to say practice meditation as to get the experience that you are not this body. Because in meditation, depending on how far you get into meditation, how deep you go, you can actually come to a point whereby you can watch the body as though you're outside of the body to realize that you are not this body. And for some of you, you may not be able to do meditation. Not everybody likes meditating. But if you were to find some time and sit and be alone in a quiet space at home or wherever you choose, and just become the observer, watch and observe this body, but watch who or that which is watching the body. Observe that which is watching the mind, that which is watching this message right now. And you would realize that you are not the body, you are not this mind. Then you would realize that when this body is no longer functioning, that is, death of the body, there is no death of you. You still exist. And I believe it is very important for everybody to realize this before death, so that you could start preparing now for a better life after this one ends. Because when the body dies, but you still exist, you would still have with you after death all the accumulated impressions, that Indians call samskars, the subtle memory of every experience that left a deep impact in your life upon you. After death, you are actually taking with you all the good, deep impressions, the imprints, the samskars from every experience, all the bad and negative ones also, any lies, any dishonesty, the negative ideas about treatment of people, all your deceits and lack of forgiveness, etc. You're also taking with you the type and quality of affiliations, the people with whom you associate closely and are attached to, all your likes and dislikes, all your anger, your resentment, all your love, all your good deeds, your bad deeds, your desires, your attachments, your accomplishments, all the memories of the things and people that are associated with these, you are taking that with you. It is often said, and even I have said it, that at death, you are not taking with you your material possessions. You're not taking that job. You're not taking the house. You're not taking the money. You're not taking the car, the people with you. You're not taking any of your accomplishments or your plaques, that you're actually leaving behind everything you owned and used. But in a sense, this is not totally true. You are not taking the solid forms of these, but you're actually taking them with you in the form of deep impressions, the subtle energy of memory. And today's science is actually proving that what you see as solid matter is not really solid. It is actually energy vibrating at certain frequencies. So yes, you are taking with you your possessions, the people, your achievements, your career, your good deeds, your bad deeds, all in the form of subtle energy, memory, impressions. So whatever it is you had in this life is actually going with you at death in the form of subtle energy. This is why you would also see a good person suffer in life. It is because the good person may have come with some dominant good qualities in this life that they worked at and tried to become a better human being in their past life. but they also brought with them negative qualities and deeds, impressions from their past life that they didn't transcend as yet. So the negative past impressions will also get expressed and arise in this life through situations and events that appear to be very devastating, but are actually opportunities to see where they went wrong in themselves, to correct, to transform, to heal and transcend negative tendencies. These situations that are devastating are not meant for the individual to suffer, the good person to suffer, but to become free and to evolve. When we experience life after this life, due to unconsciousness, we tend to forget what we did in this life, all the hurts and the ills from which we didn't learn. So we experience these now in the next life. And this is what happens to the good person, and it appears to be unfair. But it is really just unforgetfulness of the last life's deeds. Wise ancient masters have actually advised us that wherever we leave off in this life, we continue into the next. And this is no wooey kind of stuff. Any logical thinking mind can actually sit down and give deep thought to this and realize that there is some sense in all of this. So when they advise us that wherever we leave off in this life, we continue into the next, it is simply because we carry with us the impressions, the subtle energy of memory. If you understand and realize the truth of this, you would begin now to live, work, create relationships, do business, and deal with each other in a more caring and loving manner, less selfish, and in a more illumined way of being and thinking and doing. When people speak of child prodigies, those little children who appear to be geniuses and they're very talented, they can learn to play the piano in just a few months, they become little Mozarts. And what they are really, they're really old souls who have been doing what they seem to excel in lifetime after lifetime, perfecting it. And it gets carried forward as some scars, deep impressions. So what they excel in seems very natural to them from childhood. People tend to say they're gifted children, but really and truly, in a sense, they really are not gifted children. They actually did all the hard work and made all the intentional efforts in that area in which they excelled in previous lifetimes. It is us who have not done that it makes we seem to be wowed by these children. Oh wow, look how talented they are. While for these children, it is just natural, although they're just a child. And they often tend to think why we are, think they're so great. This is why it is often believed that in order to determine what your gift or purpose is in this lifetime, and yes, we may, our purpose might be to go to work and be responsible and take care of our family. And yes, our purpose is maybe to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad. But beyond all that, there is always this little thing in us or big thing that is so hidden, some gift or purpose that we came here to do. It is a desire left a deep imprint in us from our past life that seems to be so hidden from us. And so and we have to determine what that is, because sometimes along as we live life, we get frustrated at doing certain things. And so it is often believed that in order to determine what that gift or purpose is always to go back to the childhood, to determine what was so natural to you, what you loved doing. Because as you grow up, you are generally being conditioned by parents, by school, by religion, by society. And I don't believe it is really meant for for our bad, but it's really meant to help us become responsible adults in life. But this tends to cause you now to lose touch with that gift, that purpose that you came here to serve, and that you could have possibly excelled in if it were identified early enough and nurtured and encouraged. The reason I chose this topic to share with you is because many people do not consider the next life. And I want to encourage you to think about, do you want to face the same kind of unpleasant situations just to learn, to transform, to improve, to learn how to forgive, to let go of what you cannot change, to care a little bit more, to share more, to save money, to have a better um, life experience? Do you want to come back into another life and learn how to work out things with your spouse again, your parents, your siblings, your friends, employers, employees, society? Do you want to have to come and learn again in painful situations how to heal your relationships, to learn how to choose a lucrative and rewarding career path? You see, it is not just about what you do, whether you are a janitor, a pilot, an engineer, a doctor, a business owner, a priest, a pundit, a guru, but it is more about how you do whatever it is you're doing, the principles, the values, and the integrity with which you do it, the higher conscious nature of what it is you're doing. Do you want another life experience of repeating old, negative, and weary patterns? Or do you want a more evolved, enlightening, peaceful, and freeing life experience? Think about the contribution you're making to society. Are you leaving a negative imprint or a much more positive and beautiful imprint? I wish many people who are leaving impressions online, on the web, that they really give thought about how they, that memory, that imprint they're leaving behind there, think about how negative it is and really change their path into something more inspiring and leave that as their contribution to society. So, what to do with all this knowledge now that I've shared with you? Well, think seriously about the kind of life you would like to have after death of this body. Start working on it now in this life in order to have it in the next life. Have you ever heard that what you do in your present determines what your future is going to be like? So, what you do now determines what your tomorrow would be like. Because when tomorrow arrives, it never arrives as tomorrow, does it? It arrives as now, as today. So, pay close attention to the qualities you possess, to your state of being, to the kind of consciousness and mindset you have. Victor versus victim, abundant versus lack, faith versus doubt, God consciousness versus worldliness, giving versus selfishness and greediness. Make your changes and transform now. If you want a better relationship with your spouse, with your siblings, your friends, with co-workers, with employers, employees, if you want a different career, if you want a better spiritual life, you inspiring and enlightened associations, if you want stellar health, really excellent health, improved finances, whatever it may be, start fixing these now. Start working on it now in this lifetime. Improve upon them now, because the memory of that, the subtle energy of these impressions are going to go with you into the next lifetime. You do not want the same struggles in the next life, at least make the effort now. And if you don't get the result you want uh, in right now, then at least you know in the next life it's going to unfold. So prep yourself now for the next life as you take the energy and the impressions and the memory with you after death. So look at all areas of your life and improve now, transform. You know, we may have regrets. And in my case, for example, I have deep regret that I wasn't there enough for my parents because I chose to live a life abroad, away from them physically. And therefore, being so far off, I could not make a significant contribution to their lives, especially in their old age. And that was something I had to work through in myself. I can't change it because unfortunately I only realized it after their death, after their passing. So I couldn't change that situation. But I hope that my realization of that error, it is what is going to free me from that bondage of regret. And realization is very, very important. Go back and reflect in your life and see where you went wrong and what you can heal and what you can correct and what you cannot correct. Because in my case, like my parents, they're no longer here. I cannot take corrective action. I cannot say, well, now I'm going to be there for you because I realized where I went wrong. So I had to learn to let that go. So let go what you cannot change because there is no way I can change it. And what I do to sort of correct it is because they're not here physically, but I know that they're actually in existence, their energy exists. I say prayers for them. In most religions, they honor the souls every year. In Hinduism, they have a period called Pitrapaksh, where they do prayers and honor the departed souls, your ancestors. As well as in Christianity, we have something called All Souls. So I make sure I honor them in some way in prayer. Every day in my prayer, I keep them in my prayer. I send them love. I send them good thoughts and wishes. You can do something good on their behalf. So that energy, that vibration gets sent out to merge with their vibration so that, and I've asked them to forgive me because I didn't know better. So detach now. Don't carry baggage at death to bring a heavy load into your next visit here on earth. Come light and free. Clean up the mindset, clean up that narrow way of thinking, all your thoughts and actions against others. I know someone who did so much, he feels as though he did wrong to people and he recognized it. And now, I mean, I really do admire this person. He is reaching out to so many people and asking them to forgive him. And he's pointing out to them where he went wrong, and therefore he wants to make right with regard to it. And I think that's a really admirable quality. I know he's going to come in his next life in a better state. It is highly unlikely that you can do all the wrong in this world and automatically end up in heaven after death. As you're taking your qualities and state of consciousness with you. To experience heaven after death, you must have a heavenly consciousness. If somehow you happen to end up in heaven with a low level of consciousness, all the war instigators, all those deceitful people, the hateful people, you would end up turning heaven into hell, won't you? This is why you must create heaven here on earth, so you could carry that heavenly impression with you when you discard this body. So if nothing so far could get you to transform positively and elevate your life, let this topic about what happens when you die be the trigger and stimulus to wake you up, to start making deliberate and intentional changes, to evolve your consciousness, your state of being, the way you live your life and what you do in this world. So be thankful, be happy, be at peace, be blissful. Do not worry about impressing people. That will only bring misery into your life. Learn to live in harmony with others. Be forgiving, be understanding. Choose a fulfilling career path, a prosperous one, I pray for you. Have a defined circle of people in your life, of influencers. Use your gifts and talents to help yourself and others genuinely, but use them to leave a positive imprint upon others. Detach from all things worldly, understanding their place here on earth. Create a beautiful life of which you can be proud, not egotistical. Just be happy that you've created a beautiful life for yourself and for others. Remember, your ultimate goal is to realize that we are all made in the image and likeness of God, to realize who we truly are. So you do not have to have another earthly experience. I know I am working on it and I'm a work in progress, and I'm really trying my best, doing my best to become a better human being and to really know who I am beyond this body, beyond this mind, beyond everything earthly. Always remember that when the body dies, you live, you exist, and therefore you take with you the energy of all your deeds, your qualities, relationships, and all that you had. So I encourage you to live in such a way that you take beautiful and divine energy with you, so life would be a blissful one, a noble and intelligent one. So you do not have to have another earthly experience, but if you do, it is because you choose to come back to help others become enlightened too.